I'm gonna make you a little bit hungry through my presentation, if you don't mind. But let me just say this. When Kentucky Fried Chicken created this dish that was inspired by one of Nashville's most iconic dishes, Andre Prince Jeffries, Queen Mother and founder and owner of Prince's Hot Chicken Shacks, was quoted as saying this: "Lord have mercy." It really has come full circle. Since decades ago, Kentucky Fried Chicken asked my great uncle, could they buy his hot chicken recipe? Let me tell you a story about Andre Prince Jeffries' great uncle. Back in the 1930s, during the Great Depression, there was a man by the name of James Thornton Prince. Ooh, he was a tall, good-looking, handsome man, a ladies' man, people would say. Well, let me tell you, one of his lady friends got really upset with him, got tired of his philandering ways, and she wanted retribution because James had stayed out all night and he came home wanting breakfast. So she did what any woman would do. She fried him some chicken. And she looked in the kitchen and found all the spiciest items that she could find. No one knows what went in that first batch of chicken, but she spiced that chicken to what she thought was going to be beyond edible. But she was surprised. When James sat down at the breakfast table and took a bite of the chicken, she prepared herself. Would he be mad? Would he whimper? Would he stomp out? What would he do? But James took a bite of that chicken, and he loved it. He loved it so much, he took it to his brothers, and his brothers loved it. And as the story goes, the woman is no longer in James's life. She disappeared, but her idea of hot chicken lived on forever. And the Prince brothers went on to create the barbecue chicken shack. James went on to run that chicken shack. James's brother, after James died, Willie, he went on to run that chicken shack. And when Willie died, his wife Maud went on to run that chicken shack. And in the 1980s, when it was time for a new generation of princes to run the chicken shack, great Aunt Maud asked this woman, Andre Prince Jeffries, to run the family business, and she did. And the first thing she did when she took over the business is she renamed it Prince's Hot Chicken Shack. So let's be very clear here, and it's important for me to tell you this story because I want you to remember that hot chicken was created, invented, and locally popularized by Prince's Hot Chicken Shack. It's important to know that 80 years later, there's a wave of what I call second wave hot chicken joints that's opening all over the world. You guys have one right here in New York City. In Brooklyn, you have what's called Peach's Hot House. In LA, they have something that's called Howling Ray's. In Columbus, Ohio, they have Hot Chicken Takeover. In Australia, they have Bell's Hot Chicken. And right in Prince's hometown, in Nashville, Tennessee, they have Hattie Bs Hot Chicken. And I think it's really important for you all to know that hot chicken, particularly in the African-American community, was more than just about eating chicken. Going to Prince's in Nashville, Tennessee was almost like a pilgrimage. It was a rite of passage. It was a badge of honor to go there and eat hot chicken. So you all can imagine how taken aback I was, how surprised I was when Food Republic published this article in August that said, "Meet the man who launched the Nashville hot chicken craze." And I thought, oh, really? Are they about to do an article about James Thornton Prince? Because he's the man who launched hot chicken. But as I began to read the subtext, it says, John Lasseter of the famous Hattie Bs on the past, the present, and the future of hot chicken. And ladies and gentlemen, this bothers me for a couple of reasons. It bothers me because I don't think that white voices should be centered around a dish that was created, invented, launched, and made popularized by black businesses 80 years ago. It bothers me because I don't think this article goes deep enough. It does not explain the fundamental reason why Hattie Bs, and I'm not begrudging them for their success. I think their business is great. But I think it's really important for us to realize the fundamentals of why a Hattie Bs is perceived as being famous, and in many cases more successful than the chicken joints that are owned by African-American businesses. That's where I think this article missed out. You see, what folks fail to realize is that when entrepreneurs of African-American descent, particularly around food, have major expertise of creating a dish like hat chicken. And I'm going to add to that list now collard greens, since Neiman Marcus wanted to sell them for $66 a bowl, plus $15 shipping and handling. I'm going to go ahead and add collard greens to the dish too. But when African-American entrepreneurs don't grow rich from that dish, it's not because Hattie Bs brought in a chef like John Lasseter. It's not because he went to culinary school and his chicken tastes any better. There's a couple of reasons why. The first reason why, it's still pretty hard for black folks to go to culinary school. And when they go, you can then go out and leverage and get the respect and recognition. It's still really hard for black folks to get access to bank loans so they can open up hot chicken joints in locations that are desirable and high traffic and prime time locations. And more importantly, I don't want you all to forget this. It's really hard for entrepreneurs of color to get access into networks that have mentors, that have industry expertise to help them create a business model that's scalable. Hattie Bs had that, right? Hattie Bs had the model. That's the reason why. What they have? They had the location. They were able to open up prime location in bustling neighborhoods in Nashville where there were designation places with other restaurants. Hattie Bs was able to bring on a John Lasseter, right? A recognized chef who graduated from culinary school, one right here in the city of New York, the French Culinary Institute. And he was recognized just recently by Forbes Food and Wine as one of the top chefs 30 under 30. Hattie Bs had the money to invest in a PR and marketing campaign so they can create a powerful brand and spread the message of their business as they prepare to expand all over the southeastern region of the country. And more importantly, Hattie Bs had the foresight and also the resources to create a team. Because I can tell you this much, I know for sure. The founder of Hattie Bs, I'm sure he benefited from his father's knowledge. I'm sure he benefited from his father's resources. I'm sure he benefited from his father's expertise because his father was the previous CEO of a company by the name of Morrison's. And at the time that he was the CEO of Morrison's, he acquired and was able to grow a very little restaurant out of Knoxville, Tennessee called Ruby Tuesdays. That's who his father was. You understand? It's important that entrepreneurs of color have the resources to create a model. And here's what I want you all to realize and understand. That I think that there is a lot of messaging, there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of conversation in the food world in terms of who get credit for what cuisine. And I think because the title of this conference is called Change Food. And there's one thing that we have to understand. If there's anything that needs to be changed as we move forward in this good food movement, it is this. We have to change the narrative. We cannot afford in this good food culture to have a movement that is based, that is steeped, that is rooted in white privilege. We cannot afford to do that. We have to, right? We have to embrace a model of empowerment. We have to. It is important that we embrace entrepreneurs of all backgrounds, of all kinds of diversity. It's important that we honor and understand and respect culture and people's history and folks' tradition. It is important that we lift up and address the needs and interests of a diverse population. And here's the deal, guys. There are models out there are doing just that are embracing entrepreneurs of color and putting them in the center and giving them leadership positions. And I'm going to share with you three very quickly. One that I love is called Swan Market. It's a gourmet market that's located in Old Oakland. And it's run by Community Development Corporation, and they're cognizant of a couple of things. Number one, they embrace small businesses, many of them who are operating businesses for the very first time out of this gourmet food court. And the second thing is that they're very intentional in bringing on Oakland residents, many of them who don't have the support and would have never had the support to actually open up a retail front for the very first time. The second one that I absolutely love lifts up what we call cooperative economics. It's a partnership between Kiba Kante, who is the coffee roaster of Red Bay Coffee, and then David Robinson, who is the son of Jackie Robinson and Raquel Robinson. And they are bringing coffee to the world in such a beautiful and equitable way, because you now have a coffee roaster that is sourcing his beans from a cooperative of Tanzanian African farmers on the continent. They're coming together, and they created a beautiful partnership. The last one that I absolutely love. This is probably the most important and the most talked about restaurant in the nation. It is the Gray. And if you go to the Gray, you will find an African-American female chef that is partnered with her white business partner in a restaurant that used to be a former Greyhound station, where the waiting area and the bathrooms, African-Americans and whites, were separated, but no longer. They've come together and created a beautiful, amazing restaurant. And if you ask Mashama Bailey, if you ask her, why is it, Mashama, you moved from New York City to Savannah to go and be a chef at a restaurant? Mashama says this. She said it was quite simple. I was a sous chef. I was a line cook. But when Jono came to me with this proposal of being a partner, he changed my world. Now I'm a partner in a building. Now I'm a partner in a restaurant. Now I'm a partner in uplifting my culture, and nobody ever offered me that. You have to understand what's happening around the world. In Silicon Valley, they have a terminology for it. Those entrepreneurs who have fantastic ideas but can't speak the startup language, they call them off-the-grid entrepreneurs, and they're starting to work with them. In the nonprofit organization where I work, we call it inclusive entrepreneurship, because we want to embrace all entrepreneurs of color. And so I say to investors, I say to funders, I say to people with industry expertise, you have got to get out and you have got to find those entrepreneurs who are creating brilliant solutions in this food system. They need you, and we have to support them. And so I go back to Queen Mother and owner of Princess Hot Chicken Shack. And I said to her, I said, you know, Miss Jeffries, how do you feel about all these hot chicken joints opening up all the world? And she says, Devita, my customers, they try all these different places. They are popping up. They come right back here, though. Might take them a little while, but they come back to the real thing. They tell me all the time, you still got it. Of course, that makes me feel good. Have mercy. Now her only question is, she insists, which family member will take over the restaurant next? If you guys are looking to support entrepreneurs of color, if you're looking for that brilliance, if you're looking for those entrepreneurs who are working in the community, my name is Devita Davison. I'm the director of FoodLab Detroit, and I have the privilege and the honor to work with over 225 locally entrepreneurs in the city of Detroit who are making a change in their community and in their neighborhood. Thank you.